Bueno, tenemos eso. Esta vez encuentra las pistas. Bueno, aparecimos acá porque yo dejé la otra partida. No me acuerdo ni dónde había dejado, pero bueno. Aparecimos acá. Ah, hay una cosa que me equivoqué. Una cosa que me equivoqué de la armadura de Hack. Estuve viendo el Dragon Age 2. No, esta es la armadura del mago, justamente. Que es la que se hizo popular. Igual en los trailers siempre salía el Hack con esta armadura. Porque en todos los trailers y todo eso lo ponían como un mago. Obviamente vos en el juego podías elegir mago, guerrero o pícaro. Pero si elegías el guerrero tenía más partes metálicas, era más pesada. Esta es la más ligera, justamente. Es la que se popularizó, por eso pusieron esta sola, ¿no? Y en el Dragon Age Inquisition, cuando aparece Hack, aparece con esta. Bueno, eso yo lo agarré por acá. Ah, estábamos arriba, me acuerdo. Lo que pasa es que no hay puesto de viaje rápido arriba.
So, I looked into it a little bit. The devouring storm, I mean.
What did you find?
No one knows anything. Not the archive, not the circles, not even Myrna and Borgoth.
That's weird. You'd think some group of mages would know something.
Right. Here's hoping it ends up being nothing.
Eso es interesante, lo de la tormenta devoradora. No sé qué es lo que escapan los lunares. Bueno, esto de acá abajo ya lo agarré. A ver si hay enemigos acá o... No, porque yo los maté. Ahora hay más lugares. Bueno, este ya fuimos ahí y agarramos una nota. Ahí tenemos una escalera. A ver, vamos acá a ver qué hay. Ah, es la misión. Ay, ya adentro. Bueno, no tiene sentido que vaya por ahí porque... Vamos por acá. Porque tenemos la escalera ahora. Tenemos la escalera acá. Y bueno, y está el puzzle... Arriba está el puzzle walker. Para ahí, ¿por qué me marca ahí? Ah, hay una pista allá abajo. Yo me mandé. No sé qué le pasa, que dice, no hay nadie. Ahí está el otro puzzle, a ver cómo. Ah, están allá. Ah, se puede volver, yo pensé. Acá, ¿ves? En la casa esa. A ver si me puedo tirar acá.
Watch ahead.
Vamos a matar a esto porque si no. Bueno, aparecieron, entonces no estaban aquí.
Ready to go.
That was really odd.
Y el otro está ahí. No sé si son... Ah, son 3 me parece. Uy, el otro. El otro creo que está del otro lado. Ay, está bien, no puedo. Hay que subir.
Hitting us at range.
Está bugueada taza acá.
Hey, where'd you learn to cook?
I had to. We all did, kind of. All of my clan, I mean. If it's winter and the hunts aren't going well, you learn to make a meal out of anything.
Couldn't you just buy food? That's what we did. My mother didn't know how to garden.
Didn't always have the coin. We're not exactly known for our wealth. And, you know, even with the money, people wouldn't always sell to us.
That's messed up.
Eso es los rompecabezas. Ah, este es el rompecabezas Woke, ¿no? Derrota la furia. Unas notas. Bueno, vamos ahí. Están las dos misiones ahí.
Ranged incoming.
They're at range.
That's one big rage demon. Ranged incoming. Watch it. Range. They're behind you. Behind you. Nice. And he's also a good kisser. Right. Closer on the left. Right out.
That was for Gray, the Canary in those old letters. He was a good warden.
The fury of Shark's Mouth is finally defeated.
Bueno, entonces no, el puzzle era... Este puzzle, el puzzle woke, era para esto también. Esta era otra misión, matar al demonio ese. Y ya con eso ya terminaría este mapa. Bueno, a ver cómo era esto. Bueno, hay dos mujeres, un hombre, uno y un no binario, une. Se quedó plantada de su escudo atrás. Bueno, el no binario tiene el escudo atrás. Esa es una mujer. Ese es el hombre. El que no sabe escribir es el que va con el escudo atrás. Después, el nombre, uno se arrastra hacia su flanco izquierdo. Su flanco izquierdo, el hombre, a ver. Este es. Su flanco izquierdo es acá, para acá. Y después, derecho y hacia adelante. O sea, una la dejamos como está, la otra derecho, que sería su derecho, ¿no? Bueno, ahora vamos a ver ahí. A ver si es lo mismo. Bueno, legado de Meredith, que esa me parece que es la villana del Dragon Age 2. Bueno, esto, a ver, ya estaría. Sí. Rubén 100%. Salón del Valor también. Treviso 100%. El Bosque 100%. La Sala 100%. Ciudad Portuaria 100%. Y este me queda porque hay una misión. Este está 87. Bueno, vamos al faro. Ya prácticamente también terminé con la de los compañeros. Bueno, vamos a hacer la principal porque ya no queda otra.
Balara.
The Dalish prisoners escaped safely?
We got them away free and clear.
Good. Whatever my frustrations with them, it feels good to have helped my people again. Thank you for allowing me to help. Chance to infuriate Elganon was a reminder of simpler times.
You and Elganon were really tearing into one another back there.
I needed to goad him to anger in order to distract him. But yes, while all of the Evanuris were monsters in their own ways, Elganon was the worst. Or perhaps it is more honest to say that his were the faults I found most objectionable. You have met him now, heard his voice hammering at the doors of your mind, and you have met me. Can you see how he and I might frustrate one another?
He uses his power to crush any opposition.
Yes. He is far more powerful than I am, and he wields that power like a graceless bludgeon. When I defeat an enemy, it is because I outsmarted them, because I was right. When he does, it is only because he was stronger.
Outsmarting someone and being right aren't exactly the same thing.
Aren't they?
All right. I can see how you and Elganon would hate each other.
He has always been what I most feared becoming. Callous and uncaring, his arrogance unchecked. To have that much power and no one to remind him that he could be wrong.
Well, he had you.
And I suppose I had you.
You said you found the Dalish frustrating. Why is that?
It is unfair to them. I lived for thousands of years, and after I imprisoned the Evanuris, I slept for thousands more. I awoke in a world that had forgotten the ancient times almost entirely. And those who tried to remember Elven history, like the Dalish, had gotten so much wrong.
Like the terrible trickster Fen'Harel who sealed away the gods.
There was truth to their stories. My rebellion had indeed disrupted the lives of those who had been comfortable. And when I created the Veil, I destroyed an empire. Their judgments were fair, if clouded. I tried to explain the truth to one clan. When I convinced them that I was truly Fen'Harel, they attacked me. After that, I hid my explanations behind the facade of having witnessed events in the Fade.
And every mage knows that what we see in the Fade might not be literally true.
Yes. The Dalish had no reason to believe me. I could only watch as they continued to worship Elganon, though we may have seen the last of that tradition, at least.
I'll have to take your word for that.
When we first met, I saw you only as a foolishly confident child who disrupted my plans. You were an irritant. I gave you information to oppose Elganon out of necessity, but I expected you to be nothing more than a tool. Seeing you with your team, I was wrong.
Yeah, you were.
A mistake I shall endeavor not to repeat. Your team trusts you, and you listen to them. It is impressive, and enviable. It took me centuries to build such a bond during my rebellion. And when I served the Inquisition, I tried to avoid entanglements.
What about the Inquisitor? Does he not count as a friend?
He was useful. But there were others I grew fond of despite myself when I was with the Inquisition. Cole, a spirit of compassion, I helped adapt to our new world. He was the only one who knew who I really was. I miss him a great deal. Josephine, the Inquisition's ambassador, was a bastion of kindness and decency in a world that looked down on elves and apostates. Even Cassandra Pendergast of the Order of the Seekers. She was what a believer should be. Faithful, practical, committed to serving, not ruling. I suppose I did bond with the Inquisition after all, as you have with your team.
Thank you for sharing that. So what comes next? What are the gods going to do?
Elganan and Gillenane are preparing the dagger they will use for their ritual to pierce the veil. Elganan's power is tied to light and darkness. He will need to perform a ritual during the next eclipse.
That gives us some time to prepare.
It is likely to be your last chance to do so. You must be ready for whatever comes, for this world and for the team that trusts you. I know that you will do everything in your power not to fail them.
So now Elganan's recovered his own archdemon, and the gods only need an eclipse to complete their dagger.
We saved the Dalish, though. That's important.
But now Elganan's immortal, so long as his archdemon lives.
And we all know how hard those things are to kill.
We killed Razikale, didn't we?
After losing hundreds of wardens. And it took a centuries-old trap to do it. We don't have either of those. Not anymore.
Just when you think the tide's in your favor, it turns right back.
Bueno, lo interesante es que Cole sabía quién era Solas. Se me hace todo... me acuerdo del... Te querés matar.
The odds on this were never good. But we've already beaten them once. We have a job to finish. And 2 gods to kill. We don't get to wallow and whine. Because no one else is taking this fight.
Nice speech, Rook. But it's hard to complete a contract if you don't know where the target is.
We found the gods before.
Not without help, we didn't.
So we get help again. We've got allies everywhere now.
What about the Venatori that were at the crater? They might know where the gods are hiding.
Dorian said they were up to something, but it seemed more about returning to the gods' good graces. They lost Elganan's sacrifice. He'll be displeased.
The crows may have something. The Antam are moving large quantities of supplies out of the city. Weapons, armor, gatlock. And several storehouses worth of food, what little we had left. It's enough to feed the Antam Navy for 3 months. Or all of Treviso for 6 weeks.
Given the timing, it seems unlikely to be a coincidence.
Wherever those supplies are headed, that's likely where we'll find the gods. Any more details from the crows, Laconis?
They said the Antam have long work ahead. We have time. Also, Biago would like a meeting. At your earliest convenience. From him, that means important, but not yet urgent.
Finding the gods is our first priority. Following those supplies is our best chance.
Don't forget, the Shadow Dragons had our back at Lavendel. We should hear them out.
Not to complicate things, but the Inquisitor also wants to meet Rook.
Right. With everything he's been doing in the south, we owe him an update.
I'll let him know.
Keep your weapons ready. We don't know when the gods will show themselves again. Be prepared for anything. Next time the gods appear, let's make sure it's the last.
son principales, ¿no? Ahora me estaba acordando de una cosa. No, tenemos esta, regresa. Ah, sí, estas. Vamos a hacer esta. Y se puso otra más, ¿eh? No. Esta es para terminar esta zona.
Remember to breathe.
Hey, Antoine. Evka.
I can still hear it. Though it is giving me a headache.
Please be careful.
With the container? It's very sturdy. I tested it.
What? When? And how?
Am I interrupting?
No. Our study of the new blight continues.
We know the gods changed the blight. We think it changed more than they realized, or altered itself after.
It's answering to something other than gods.
Great. Figures. So what's the Blight answering to?
Remember the strange call I heard after the Lavendale battle? It was here, in the wetlands.
We think the source is out a ways, towards the redoubt.
I can tell it's something large, rooted. A construct of the blight itself. An eruption controlling the rest. What that could mean. Everything that calls the blight impacts the wardens. We withstand it. But gods, archdemons, it all adds strain.
If the eruption calls the blight, then it could mess with us too. Spark the calling sooner. We'll lose ourselves, along with the wetlands.
Should you have told me about all this? About the calling?
First Warden would have said no.
You're our friend. You chase archdemons and fight the blight. It seems fair you know what this means.
Antoine, you hear stuff in the Blight more than some of the others. Are you?
Yes. A little sensitive, but it's not calling to me. Not yet. Like everyone else, I'll know when that changes.
So we kill this eruption. It can die, right?
That's the hope. Remember those samples you found when we first arrived? Based on our studies, Antoine made an alchemical flame. It's impressive. It should destroy the eruption.
Theoretically. At least the last batch was stable. Mostly.
But if the eruption's controlling the blight and it gets attacked, then the blight around Lavendale might respond.
Yes, its roots are everywhere. And spreading. I can feel them.
These people can't lose their Blight experts. I can go after the eruption.
While we guard against nasty side effects here.
I'll make sure the whole thing burns.
Good.
The blight poisons so much. Water, plants, animals, people. Some would call the wetlands dead already. But they're not. It's not too late. Whatever the eruption means for the wardens, we can leave this place better. It's what we're supposed to do.
We'll take our stand in the sheltered glade. Meet us there when you're done.
That story about Warden Augustine and the spirit in the wood.
Eyes up.
Oh, is it time again? Great. Here we go. Watch for Get ready to fight. Oh, is it time
I don't have a good feeling about this place.
I mean, me neither, but we need to keep going.
A barrier. I bet the eruption's on the other side. We'll need to cut off the tendrils to break through.
Kill a bunch of darkspawn. Got it.
Right. Better move before more darkspawn show up.
Up there! That ledge! We can destroy the tendrils from there.
A ballista.
Could be useful.
We're through.
Okay, good. Let's see what's ahead.
What is... Is that the Blight eruption?
That's messed up.
The Darkspawn are protecting it. We need to take them out. Let's go.
Trouble coming our way. Looks like...
Not done yet.
Fire! Ranged incoming.
Keep going.
Take that, Darkspawn!
Bueno, ahora hay que matarlo.
Hitting us from range.
No parece que haya loot acá.
This is it. Let's get that eruption. All right. We strike and the whole thing goes up. All right. Time to destroy this thing.
Bueno, ahora nos vamos. Ahora ellos van a estar en otro lado. Y ahora se destraban ciertos lugares que yo descubrí en mi anterior partida. O sea, se destraba acá la cueva esa y otros 2 lugares más todavía. Y esto la verdad que no sé qué es. Que en cada lugar de esos 3 está eso. Es una flor, pero no sé qué misión es. A ver, lo agarro, pero no dice nada.
They aren't blighted. Were they dormant?
Maybe. They're beautiful. Much like you.
Ah, Rook, hi.
We knew when you hit that eruption. The blight around Lavendel reacted. And there was a sound in it. Like nothing we've heard before.
What happened in there? What was it like?
There's some pretty scary things in the Minratha's catacombs. But I've never seen anything like that.
A story for your fellow shadows?
Not sure even the Viper will believe it.
When the eruption was destroyed, some of the bigger tendrils pulled back. The remaining blight won't vanish overnight, but it's a good sign. And this place opened up.
The flowers here, they managed to survive, buried, untouched. They have a chance to return now.
Tough little things.
Yeah, there's something special. We thought the Grey Warden's purpose would end when the last archdemons died.
And that time's almost here. It's unbelievable.
The Order is those of us left now. When the archdemons fall, some wardens will hang up their swords. Until they're calling, at least.
So the Wardens are finished?
No, our numbers may get smaller, but Efka and I will be here. Others will stay too.
There's still blight in the world. There's something new calling to it. And to us.
There's blight inside us too. If it changed out there, have we changed as well?
What matters is that if new evils show up, we'll be here to keep them back.
Are you doing okay with all this? Really?
Don't worry, I'm good. I've got everything I need right here.
Me too.
Do you really think something inside you has changed?
It's possible. Or maybe we're the same. But does that mean we'll be the same? You can't sense the blight. But trust us, it feels different. And the sound is changing too.
As for what it means, it's like Antoine said. We don't know yet.
If new threats turn up, we'll kick their ass.
That's perfect.
The blight feels relentless most of the time. We see what it does up close.
The world dying, how it spreads. But we keep going.
And look, these flowers can make it back.
The wetlands are still blighted.
And it won't get better quickly. I still like the flowers, though.
Lavendel was named for flowers. They must have been everywhere before. When we get back.
We can stay here a bit longer first.
Oh, yes. I thought I heard birds earlier. Maybe we can find them?
The wetlands aren't fully healed.
But the flowers came back. Hey,
You little guys smell good. Keep growing.
Yeah. Pushing back the blight. It's possible.
Bueno, vamos a ver esos lugares que estaban bloqueados. A ver. Acá. Acá hay otro.
Watch ahead.
Bueno, esto siempre nos ven, me parece. No, no nos vieron, me parece. Ah, ellos ya están peleando, ¿no?
Let's go.
Sí.
Trouble.
Bueno, este lugar también tiene flores. Ese hay otra flor ahí, ¿no? Yo la cojo la flor, pero no sé. Y bueno, y el otro, que sería un cofre este que me falta, está acá.
You were talking about money stuff before. Took me a long time to realize we grew up. Who wants some?
Done, Rook.
Right. Where were we? You were talking about money stuff before. Took me a long time to realize we grew up poor.
Oh? Why?
My mother made sure I had enough to eat. We even got herbs to help me with the fire breath. She always ate less than I did. Said the Ravani food was too rich for her.
She wanted to be sure you'd eaten. Wouldn't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Bueno, a ver. Quería ver esa... Los ataques finales... Marca cercana. Se va acumulando sobre un objetivo al estar. Ah, estaba viendo, me subí las cosas a 10. ¿Por qué no están con el... con eso? ¿Por qué no le aparece eso? El cosito ese amarillo. Bueno, no sé. Esto no se sube, ¿no? Bueno, el cinturón sí. Bueno, ahora sí. Ya tenemos 100%. Ya está todo, ¿no? 100. 100. 100, bueno, acá también. A ver, esta ya sé. Esta se resuelve acá adentro.
Thanks for the tip-off.
You spend far too much time here, Dorian.
This is where all my favorite people are. And besides, I have news. And every messenger bird I've met is dreadful at nuance.
Magister Parvus, it's good to see you again.
At least someone appreciates my presence.
You're our eyes in the Magisterium. If someone spots you here...
Yes, I know. Can't be spotted with the shadow dragons. You worry too much, May.
Well, what do you have for us?
The cult lost people in Alathan, and leadership has fallen to Knight Commander Lenos. He aims to bring the city to its knees.
But Minrathous is already falling apart.
I know. While the Varantis' attack on the city could have been much worse, the people's fear in the aftermath is palpable.
And the rumors about the Archon are true. He's dead. Assassinated during the Dragon's rampage. The palace has tried to keep the news from spreading until a new Archon steps up.
And no one has?
No one dares. Not with the Venatori circling like vultures. The risen gods are preparing for something big. And for that, they need fear. Chaos.
More fear. More chaos. Haven't the Venatori done enough?
Restraint is not exactly their strong point, Rook. Lenos is the key to all of it. First, we stop what he's planning for Minrathous.
And then we find out what the gods are preparing for.
Let's hope it stays that simple. One of Lenos' Venatori associates is often at the Cobbled Swan. Let's see what we can get from him.
We? Dorian, you can't be going yourself.
It's the Swan. Everyone goes to the Swan.
I'll head out right now.
Es el negocio, ¿no? Y esta es la principal.
What do you think of the Shadow Dragons?
They're good. They help people. Even if they aren't actually dragons.
We probably shouldn't keep Dorian waiting too long.
Quería ver qué decía Taz. Esa es la principal.
There's Lenos' associate. According to the shadows watching him, he's nervous and doesn't talk much, but does odd jobs for coin. Interesting, yes? I'll draw him off, you check his belongings, see if you can discover any clues about Lenos' plan.
Half-eaten stale bread, water flask, muddy socks, and this map. Minrathous targets. That doesn't sound good. The bedroll. It's definitely seen better days. And it's damp. Sleep. This all sounds like trouble.
What are you poking about in there for?
Dorian will want to know.
Hey, I didn't see you rifling through customers' belongings, did I?
This customer might be associated with Venatori. Be careful.
If he's Venatori, he's not like any I've encountered. He comes in when we open, orders one drink, and sits in the corner all day. Then he leaves when we close.
Lenos intends to destroy the city with Blight and Darkspawn.
Carthus. Nothing like an attack to cause chaos in a city. You should head there immediately.
All right.
Let's go.
Ah, sí. Me había olvidado de esta misión, la verdad. Que es un templario, ¿no? Sí.
Careful ahead.
Redouble your efforts.
La verdad que los paisajes son buenísimos. Los colores. Y Minraf, el Tevinter es hermoso, la verdad.
Watch ahead.
Watch yourself. Trouble coming.
Something tore through these gates. Something big. Watch out! I bet this dark spawn was what tore through the gates.
You got it!
Ready. Got them.
Okay.
More blight in the way. That did it. We can get through now.
Bunch of them. Let's do this. Come on. Get ready. Nice. And he's also a beginner. Good one.
Everything's crumbling down here. Might be tricky to get out.
At least reality's not squishy, so better than Arlethan.
Wasn't enough. There must be another.
Find the blight boils. We need to clear the way and keep pushing. We got it. Way should be clear.
Y acá marco otro camino. Pero no se puede ir por acá. A ver. No creo que llegue ahí. No se agarra.
Shadow dragons? How did you find this place?
¿Qué pasó con la cámara?
Do you think you've won? Do you think you can stop the Venatori? All the risen gods?
We're certainly gonna try.
The Shadow dragons have brought nothing but chaos to the city. Bring the Earth to justice. That's an order.
Let's look around, see what we find.
Weird place to hang out.
Lenos's documents. They detail the Venatori's long-term plans and what they want to do to Tevinter. The Risen God's ritual. That's what the gods in the Venatori are preparing for. These star charts predict an eclipse to make magic stronger.
So they're doing magic crap under an eclipse. That's never good.
All this, the ritual, the eclipse, and the Venatori plans. We have to bring this to the Shadow Dragons immediately.
We should tell the Shadow Dragons what we found.
Evil old gods, rituals, waiting for the stars. It's about as Tevinter as blood magic and hubris. Learning about the gods' plans is wonderful, of course. But the lists of magisters you got your hands on, now there's the real gold.
You've looked at it already. Of course you have.
Information on their backers, the ties to illegal slavery. Don't you see what this means?
This is power, May. Imagine becoming Archon and using this against those who've been hurting the people for years.
You, on the throne, Dorian.
Tell me that wouldn't be a splendid way to bring about real change.
The Shadow Dragons have heard that before. After Corypheus, with Lucerni, we expose corruption and stop slavers, but nothing really changes. What makes you think it'll be different this time?
Surely you're not suggesting we give up entirely. After all, you're still here. The rot in Tevinter is buried deep. We've been digging it out bit by bit, only for it to grow back. But what you've given us allows us to strike at the heart.
So the rot has no chance to return. But how would you use this information exactly?
Dorian wants to use it to crush our enemies by whatever means necessary. I prefer to use it to rally the people. I say we make the information known. Allow the people to see the real justice served. Prove that from now on, we work for them.
We tried that already. Or have you forgotten the Lucerni? I no longer trust that political machine will work in our favor. No. We must get at the root of the problem before they can react. A more forceful approach. Destroy them and their networks utterly.
Swords and spies and blackmail? The devious means you learned in the South? If we go outside the system, we invite everyone else to do the same. No, we have to do this in the open. Show the people of Tevinter that we're here for them.
We're Shadow Dragons. It's right there in the name. You supported this because you knew the system didn't work for the people.
The point was to work in the shadows until we could work in the light. And Rook has brought us what we need.
May, the Imperium's politics burned you once and you still...
Enough. We're not the only ones who have a stake in this. Rook, we're talking about your city. Your Tevinter too. Which strategy do you prefer?
Obviamente Dorian.
What sort of change are you trying to achieve?
For a start, slavery. Abhorrent. It needs to go no more.
And Tevinter has been ruled by the Altus mages for all of its history. That must change. The Zoparati, non-mages, deserve a say in their own governance.
And all that's just the beginning of what will undoubtedly be a long journey.
Shouldn't you be on the same side?
We are on the same side. We both know what Tevinter needs. How best to get it, that's the question.
If we went with Dorian's plan, I'd support it fully. But we won't, because he'll come around and realize that I'm right.
And I'd absolutely back you up on that, if you were right, which you aren't.
We'll see.
Will we?
Mevaris, you really believe making this evidence public will work?
Dorian wants to work behind the scenes, but once again, it's the Magisters and Highbloods pulling the Imperium strings. That doesn't inspire. It's a tactic used by our enemies. We need to show Tevinter that we can be different.
Unless they find some way to bury it, or leverage their wealth, power, and status as they often have before.
Politics is a long game. If we use force against our enemies, our allies will remember it.
Dorian, are you really suggesting violent revolution?
Not necessarily. Sometimes a mere threat of violence is sufficient.
He learned that from his friends in the south. I hear Ferelden settled a succession crisis with a duel.
It worked. Astoundingly.
We're not Ferelden.
I'm merely saying we need to consider bold and creative methods of achieving our ends. The game is rigged. Why play by rules crooked magisters already exploit? Clear the board and start over. If they're gone, we can fill the magisterium with those who respect the office. Then we'll actually see progress.
You want me to choose who will be Archon? Sure, I'm a Shadow Dragon, but there are so many others here.
Then talk to them. Ask what they think. Asher and Tarquin, Nev, Gallus, they're all a part of this, just as you are. We should all be comfortable with whatever course we take.
All right, I'll go do that.
No la entiendo esta señora, dice palabras que no, dice todes, no sé qué significa. A mí qué es.
So, what do you think?
Lenos is gone. We got information about the Venatori's plans, the god's ritual. Would have liked to see his face when he lost, but having him gone is good enough.
I meant about Mevaris and Dorian. We all want change. Who will be more effective in getting it?
Oh, that. You're dragging me into it?
Mevaris said talk to Nev. I'm talking to Nev.
Mevaris Talani has been in this game for decades. She's dedicated and ruthless when she needs to be. Dorian Parvis is a wild card. Flashy and inventive, he'll keep his enemies on their toes. But if you're asking me, I'd go with Mevaris. She'll inspire people, show them that the Magisterium can be better than it is. Right now, after the gods and everything else, that's what this city needs. What we all need.
Thanks, Nev. That helps.
That's what I'm here for.
Grand news about Lenos. One less crooked Templar in town.
Lenos got what he deserved.
Makes you smile, doesn't it? Drinks for everyone.
Lenos made my life miserable. Rana's too.
I hear he started out different. Maybe he once cared about something other than gold. But I didn't know that, Lenos. And I'm not going to mourn the one I did. Still, I'll thank the bastard for writing everything down and delivering it to us all neat.
Dorian and Mevaris still have to decide what to do with everything we got from Lenos.
Any course of action is better than sitting around, if you ask me.
I suspect this decision will determine Tevinter's path for years to come.
Then Dorian's way is my choice. He knows you don't stop to talk when you find a hole in the enemy's defenses.
Dorian is a brash rebel.
And Mevaris too much of a romantic.
I think the people will appreciate Maevaris returning as the leader they've always wanted to see.
No. They'll appreciate their lives actually changing for the better.
What do you think might happen, depending on who leads?
With May, she gets power back again. Gets one more shot at changing Tevinter from the top down. Worst that could happen is nothing. But that's what you risk when all you rely on is hope. But with Dorian...
We could get chaos, strife. Things might get harder before they get easier. If they get easier.
I'll take my chances.
This is not helping. At all.
If I'd known you wanted help, I wouldn't have said anything.
Quinn.
What? Opinions are cheap. Sometimes you just have to go where you go.
I have faith, Rook.
Still not helpful.
Bueno, vamos a votar obviamente a Dorian. No porque la mujer esa no sepa hablar. Lo elijo a Dorian porque es como... O sea, la batalla se tiene que dar en todos los lados. No fuera... Tiene que estar gente adentro de la política también. Es como el Javier Milei y Dorian. Por eso.
Maker. A full quarter of the Magisterium supporting a cult. Bending the knee to these risen old gods just for a taste of more power. Can they not see they're only tools for the gods? So they can destroy the world?
Demanding intelligence, rationality, and self-awareness from our peers. You ask too much, Maevaris.
Look at me. Such a fool.
Ah, it's Rook. You spoke with the others.
What do you think? Who should be leading the charge from here on?
What happens after it's decided who'll lead?
Well, Lenos is gone, the cult's numbers are down, and they're scrambling to prepare for the god's ritual. They'll be distracted. It's a perfect opportunity to get our preparations in order.
All plans contingent on surviving the current disaster, of course.
I hope this signals the start of the change we've worked toward.
The start of the change, as you say. Things won't be different overnight.
But we'll keep fighting, because we have to, because there's no other way.
And with you and everyone here, we'll get there. We'll win. Keep believing, Rook.
Dorian should lead.
Then it is decided. Of course, it only makes sense, but... Ha! Look at me! The sudden pressure.
You won't be alone. All of us are behind you. The Shadow Dragons, the city, her people.
It will take all of them to overcome the risen gods.
You'll find a way to bring them together.
The people know they don't want blight-ridden fiends in their city. They don't need me to tell them. I can, however, show them how to fight. Gods, cults, evil magisters, nothing will stand in our way of forging a new Tevinter.
Bueno, le elegimos a Dorian. Bueno, mira, este nos daba 400 puntos. Claro, era por eso capaz que no subía a la tienda, pero igual ya está. Ya la subí yo. Y ahora quedó esto. Vamos a... al faro a ver si alguien tiene algo para decir. Pues ya... nos quedan las principales. Ya apareció otra misión, ¿no? Ah, porque pensé que se iba a abrir algo. Esta vamos a hacer. La de Treviso.
Rook stopped the Anton. Took down their comic maker. He did your job for you. He's a hero.
Just a meddling busybody. Where was Rook when the dragon attacked our city?
I can't believe you're defending them.
I am not defending anyone, Jacobus.
You're letting them be a part of this? My cousin died because the governor didn't stop the Antam from taking over.
Jacobus?
I'm fine. But I'm not going to be a part of this.
Well, now that unpleasantness is dealt with, about your mysterious informant.
Whoever they are, they know the Antam and Treviso.
Your message made it sound like this informant also knows where the gods are staging their ritual.
Treviso does not need this troublemaker. This should be left to proper officials.
It very much concerns Rook. We have a contact who offers access to the Butcher and privileged information on the gods.
A chance to find your gods and to free the city. A prize for both our causes.
The contact. They aren't a crow. Can we trust them?
It isn't a crow, but they know the city and the Antam.
How do you know it's for real?
They gave us patrol patterns. Dreadnought arrivals. Their information is real.
And you didn't share this with me?
People in this city continue to sicken and die. Do you not have other more pressing matters to attend to?
So where are we meeting?
Near the field hospital, where the market used to be.
And they asked for me, not you or Viago.
Even with what happened to Treviso, your fight against the gods is spoken of by many. You have respect, and no small admiration.
From who, though? That's the question.
There's really no clue who it is.
They're foolish enough to think crows are reliable. That's a clue about their worth.
They promise help.
So do you when you're not killing each other. Treviso deserves better.
It's getting the best.
That has yet to be proven.
Hypothetically, what if I'm walking into an ambush?
I would prepare for one.
Not everything is an adder in the wardrobe.
I said to prepare. I didn't say not to go.
What about the human help the Antam was getting? You have any leads on that?
We continue what you started. The other Talons are turning over every stone.
You trust them? Not even your first Talon is safe from your infighting.
We are all Antivan crows.
And yet those of us sworn to Treviso are beneath you.
I'll talk with this mystery contact.
And the rest of us will hope not to get caught in your crossfire again.
If we can remove the Butcher and weaken the Antam, then perhaps Treviso can start to heal from the Blight. With luck, this informant is our key to that. Find them, Rook. Hear what they have to say. Our informant is near the field hospital, Rook.
They said you'd know them on sight.
Remember, there are injured people there. Don't damage anything.
So we're supposed to meet this unknown contact? Feels like a trap.
We're fighting gods with the crows. I'm curious who would try to trap us. If our informant actually knows where Elganon and Gillenane are performing their next ritual, it's worth the risk. Okay, Iago and Taya said our informant is somewhere in the market. Let's find them. I just hope their supposed information about the god's location is actually true.
I presume.
The Butcher.
There's no need for that. Treviso is the trap, not this meeting. Please. So tense. I promise I'll signal when it's time to fight.
Strange way to ambush someone.
I don't have to ambush anyone. You think I couldn't just march on the crows? Scattered Antam flock to me. I have the soldiers to raise your casino and every inch of this city.
But I'll bet there's no profit in actually winning.
There's money being made by the occupation, but not by me. I said Treviso was the trap, and I meant it. The jewel of Antiva. She sings even while caged. Such purity in every stone. It's trapped my heart. I love this city.
Es enorme el carnicero, ¿eh?
You expect me to believe the Butcher of Treviso?
I butcher lying cattle. They don't deserve what they have. You know there are traitors here. They ransom their own city. Literal gods stalk the land, but these filth worship their own purses. But you're different. You and the crows stay true to your roles. It means something when you die, and even more when you kill. You're as much a work of art as this city. And you want a secret from me.
You knew I was coming. Cut to the chase and tell me where the gods want their ritual.
The gods, they give strength. But all they ask in return is everything. I can feel their corruption. I can hear their whispers. They're calling for a ritual. If I give in, I'll know where you need to go. But I will lose my jewel. My city! So... you live in a casino. Let us make a game of this. I will become what the gods want. Welcome their whispers. Meet me and show me if the crows deserve my city.
The Butcher was our contact, and he's letting himself fall to the blight. Finish them off. We need to go after the Butcher. So the Butcher wants us to prove we're worthy of saving Treviso. That's what's happening.
I thought he was given into whatever the gods were doing.
Encima este era el lugar donde está el bar ese. Parece que sacaron a la gente para...
Everyone's acting like normal. Like the Butcher hasn't gone nuts.
Who'd believe it? I don't.
Save it to keep your head down, I guess.
Sacaron a la gente para hacer la reunión.
Hear the shift in his voice? He's changing. There's the Butcher. He's a Reaver and fighting his own Antam.
How's that thing going to tell us about the gods?
We have to hope he's still in there. I see you, Rook, and I see the ritual.
Le sacaron varias. Bastante vida le sacaron.
This is the power the gods give. Butcher, where is the ritual? There's nothing left of it. I see Tearstone Island! The ritual! Tearstone Island! He's gone. And he named the ritual site Tearstone Island.
Actually, kind of surprised the butcher didn't lie.
If I could have killed him without giving him what he wanted, I would have. At least he gave us what we came for, though.
Yes, truly the Butcher was a paragon of honor and virtue, and we are all devastated to see him go.
Eventually.
And now you have a location for your final pointless confrontation. The gods are at Tearstone Island. Isn't that what you wanted? A chance to die a hero's death? So go. Leave Treviso to those who deserve it. What's left of it, anyways.
You godless traitor! You weren't powerless against the Butcher, you were working with him!
I don't expect you to understand this, but sometimes governance means not showing your entire hand.
You sold Treviso out to the Antam.
I did what I did to help this city, to save it, to keep my people from being slaughtered like cattle by the Antam. And you let us suffer and sicken in favor of Minrathous. I gave up the crows, you gave up the whole city. Treviso is dying, Rook, and its killer wears your face.
I've met some terrible people lately, even without counting Elganon and Gillenane. You're right up there in some pretty august company. What if Treviso's people could have fought back? Could have rallied to the city's defense? But the Antam kept them weak, let them die. That happened because of a choice you made. I live with the consequences of my decisions. Can you say the same?
You live with nothing, Rook. You have the luxury of distraction, of defining all your actions by the greater good. So take your team to Tearstone Island. Face Elganon and Gillenane, strike them down. Or don't. Either way, Treviso is dying. But it's still mine. Leave its funerary rites to one who cared enough about this city to make themselves its villain.
It makes sense now. Every decision they made shows it.
The governor betrayed us all. And for what? A city that is sick, and whose recovery will be measured in years.
I take it you heard? The Butcher's dead.
And in his place is the traitor we knew was lurking. And the Antam fell in line?
Whatever the Antam are looking for, Eventually's giving it to them.
The Blight changes things. Even the Antam fear it. The governor has given them a clear purpose. They were more cunning than I thought.
Something always bothered me about Evenchi.
Many things bothered me about Evenchi. Yet I did not spot the most important one.
This wasn't a failure. You gave us the name we needed.
The hand that leashed Treviso. The butcher was the mouth, but the hand was Evenchi all along. They think they have the power in the Antam, and a network doing their will.
But we have the face of our enemy.
Evenchi will be hiding, so we will hound their Antam and make them desperate.
When the governors show themselves again, we end this.
You're not concerned the gods will send the Antam more support?
The gods might come for us, but they're coming for everyone. I believe you are crafting the answer to that, and we will help as we can.
When Evenchi left, they made it sound like they were planning something.
I suspect it will be about restoring order as they see it, and that the crows will be first on their list.
Whatever the good governor's intent, we'll end it.
Evenchi keeps talking about restoring order and rebuilding Treviso. But what then?
I believe the good governor's plan was to risk the city to try and claim the nation. If the Antam beheaded the crows, who would merchant princes hire? Who would invaders fear?
As if the Antam would fill that role. This was a bookkeeper's anger grab at power.
We'll stop Evenchi.
The gods. Did you learn where they will be?
Tearstone Island. Evenchi confirmed it before they left.
We know the time to face Elgarnon and Gillenane approaches, but it will not take us long to find Evenchi.
If you truly want to help Treviso recover from the Blight, help us deal with the governor.
We'll let you know when we'll make our move. And after that, Treviso will be free.
Bueno, llegamos al nivel máximo, esta de acá. Aumentamos la zona otro 50%. Bueno, dijo que nos va a avisar. Vamos al faro, ¿eh? Ahí está. Ah, bueno. 2 conversaciones. Me parece que eso que llegó, que está acá, es la... Ya tiene la información, ¿no? Claro. Sí. Ya tenemos, vamos a marcarla. ¿Quién quiere hablar? Neb y Lucane, ¿no?
Up for a trip to the Cobbled Swan?
Why? What's happening?
Nothing that I know of. With Aelia taken care of, I thought we'd check in. Maybe enjoy the Swan for once?
Ah, no, vamos a poner esta. Después vamos a Treviso. Y Lucani, ¿sabes?
Balara, I'm sorry about Syria.
It's... At least I got to talk to him at the end. The real end.
Spite will not stop demanding revenge for Treviso. Is there any more we can do?
Ah, sí. Me acuerdo que solamente la discusión era esa. Bueno, ahora vamos a la de NEP. Y después nos vamos para Treviso. Creo que es abajo, ¿no? Sí. Ahí. Ah, mira, y ahí está eso. Esta puerta ya la abrimos, no sé por qué más.
Have you heard about this clouded dragon? Siege of Siconia, back on stage. Where's the seer?
Anything I can chase down?
Thought the cart was done when the Venatori grabbed me. You did a good job polishing her up.
I was happy to help. Besides, Nev might starve without your cart.
Yeah, well, free fish next time. You too, Gallus.
Sure, Hal. Rana, I've got someone for you to meet.
Right. I'm almost finished here.
Good reading? And here I thought you'd be working our cases.
I got a tip on a red lyrium smuggler who leaves coded messages in the paper. I placed a coded ad pretending to be a buyer. If the smuggler took the bait, I'll know where he's trading the goods.
That sounds like a lot to juggle. You seem good at it.
Thanks. I just have to put up with Nev.
Well, aren't you sweet?
Okay. What are we after?
We're looking for the phrase Virantium Brandy.
Got it.
Hold on. What's this? Nev, Gallus, and Rana Savas, investigators?
Right. That. I may have paid for another small advertisement.
You what?
If we want to help people, they need an easier way to find us. It's approachable.
I regret this already.
That cynical reputation. Kiss it goodbye.
I can be approachable and a cynic. It's part of the charm.
There. Virantium Brandy. I know where to stop the red lyrium deal. This one, anyway.
Good catch. You might work out after all. Still, I'd prefer you have backup when you need it. And if I'm not around... Rana, meet the Viper. I put in a word for you.
The Viper? You're real? Wait, a word? For what?
Come. It's time you met the Shadow Dragons.
Are you Nev Gallus?
How did you...
I saw your advertisement. I need your help.
Then you're in the right place.
Minratha's calls, we answer.
Cross your fingers it's not for nothing.
It won't be.
Have a seat. I'm guessing you've got a story.
Bueno, simplemente cierra el arco de Nev, ¿no? Ahora nos vamos a Treviso. Tenemos que solucionar lo del gobernador. El gobernadore.
Rook, good. We have discovered what Ivenchi is planning for Treviso. When you fought the comic master in the garrison, you mentioned a note you found that said some comic had gone missing.
We have discovered who stole it.
Ivenchi.
The governor intends to release it all around the city to pacify violent seditionists.
They called us reckless, and now... Now Ivenchi will ruin the minds of thousands in this city to have their peace and order.
Who is Ivenchi planning to poison with the comic? Aside from the crows.
People who have spoken up too loudly against the Antam.
Anyone too friendly with the crows. I doubt Ivenchi is familiar with poisons. I guarantee the comic will spread to the rest of the city as well.
We know about it, and we'll stop it.
After the dragon attack, and then the blight... The governor is a coward who has given up on Treviso.
Better to poison the last of it themselves than let anyone else solve these things.
It is finally time to strike. Go to the garrison and prevent Ivenchi from releasing the comic.
Once you are there, Thea and I will lead the crows against the rest of Evenchi's forces in the city.
Understood.
There is something else. Jacobus stormed off earlier. He did not look well.
Look out for him, would you?
Of course. We'll head to the garrison.
Do you think Evenchi would target the field hospital?
I would not put anything past them now.
I heard them.
There's the garrison. Onto the garrison and the governor.
Hey, we had a thing. My mother wore the same dress for years, until it was thin enough to read through. Said it was all she needed. I bought her a new dress with my share from my first job with the Lords of Fortune. It was all shiny and covered with ribbons. She said the dress was wasteful, that I should have spent it on new boots for myself.
She's still worried about you.
It was the first time I had gold in my purse. Why couldn't she let me get her something nice?
Old habits die hard, I guess. She wanted to be sure you had enough.
The courtyard looks empty.
Where are all the Entente guards?
Evenchi must be further in. We clear the garrison this time. Evenchi's got to know there's no way out for a traitor.
Look! Intruders! Calm down. We can escape across the roofs.
Got him good there.
El meteorito. El meteorito sigue siendo el mismo tamaño, pero el área se aumentó el área y me parece que la explosión del piso también.
Dark spawn. The courtyard's full of them.
That explains why Evenchi's Entente were trying to run.
Creo que acá había un cofrecito,
Wait! Jacobus? Okay, now for Evenchi.
I will see you dead if it's the last thing I do before the blight takes me!
Y acá atrás no había nada.
Dizzy, strange. Bad air.
Ah, es el veneno que nos hace ver eso. O sea que se teletransporta, ¿no?
Wait, these aren't unreal.
I see the comic is working.
Justo me quedé sin mano.
Dark spawn at the gates hadn't scratched me, blighted me. If you hadn't interfered, it wouldn't have made a difference. Neither will my death. My comic could have helped stabilize the city, but it's still blighted, dying. Nothing can save Treviso now. Maybe Treviso will survive. Maybe not. You've lost the right to know. You must be so proud. Leaving this city in the grip of murderers. You say you did all this for Treviso, Avenchi. To protect it. But you never really believed in it. What would you know about the city I love?
Bueno, hay que volver a la base, ¿no? Sí.
If Rook hadn't stopped the governor in time. Rook! I should have wine. We should toast you.
Evenchi is dead. The comic is being disposed of. All thanks to you.
The garrison's a mess.
Details.
The Antam remain, though with Evenchi gone, I think we will be able to persuade them to move on in the coming months.
People are being moved to safer areas outside the Blight. Crows have time now to patrol for Darkspawn.
It will take years, but we can plan for Treviso's future now that it has one.
It's going to take a long time to get rid of all the blight.
For this city, every hour, every day of toil is worth it.
You never gave up, Rook. We will repay that in full. But life is so dull if all we talk about are responsibilities. It is time to celebrate.
For our victory.
For Treviso's freedom.
For the crows.
What an excellent idea. Viago, dear, you mentioned something about getting us drinks?
I think we've done what we can for Treviso. We've shown everyone you can stand against the Antam and the Blight.
Bueno, tenemos esa. Vamos al faro. Ahí está. Yo me estaba acordando porque había que hacer esto para que así terminemos con Lucanis, porque falta Lucanis. Me parece que la misión que nos queda ya es la pasamos a la etapa final. Ahora Lucanis va a terminar su quest.
Lucanis?
He looks just like me. Spite, I mean, when he manifests.
That makes sense, doesn't it? What's on your mind?
I've been thinking. Treviso is as safe as we can make it. So, when my contract to you is fulfilled, Spite and I will go our separate ways. Literally, I'm going to seek out a way to separate us, wherever that takes me.
A lot of people have tried to cure possession. Sometimes if they can kill the demon in the Fade.
That's what I've heard too, but there's no guarantee of success, especially given our situation.
Because you and Spite were forced together.
And because I pay my debts, even to him.
If you can manage it, that's a good idea.
I'd feel safer around my family, around Nev.
So why don't you sound happier about it?
Being possessed. It's not like separating oil and water. Each element permanently infuses the other. Spite wears my face, uses my skills. I know I've grown stronger. So, say I cast out Spite with all he's learned from me. What then? What if I free myself, but unleash a true demon of Virantium?
If it came to that, you could handle him. Or are you worried you wouldn't be able to put him down?
I worry that I'd miss him.
If Spite gets his freedom, it's his choice what to do with it. But you can't control that. All you can do is trust that you're making the right call. For both of you.
I know. But from someone else, it's easier to believe. And it's easier to see a future I can live with when this is done. To strike hardest, one must aim beyond the target. Let's end it, Rook. You and I and Spite, and all the fury we can muster.
Ahí está. Armadura. Tenacidad de cuervo, ahí está. Ahí ya nos dieron las cosas. Son como unas skins, ¿no? Ah, mira. Subí al máximo. Neb también tiene 2 puntos. Este le va. Bueno, a ver la túnica. Son todas detonaciones. Pero está bueno el traje. A ver qué hace. El daño que te pones aumenta. Está bueno. $227. Bueno, ya tenemos todo. La misión, seguramente lo que nos queda es ¿cómo se llama? Cuando ya emisión de de no retorno. Ya no, igual el juego te avisa. Si nos acerca, si tocamos ahí nos va a avisar el juego, me parece. A ver, vamos al faro, no creo que haya más conversaciones.